Great. So welcome everyone to our, let me just also just pin myself quickly. Okay. Welcome to our heart-powered speaking community call. It's amazing to have you as every month. And I know we have a few first-timers here with us today. And for the first-timers that are here with us for the first time, who am I? I'm Monique Bloxell. I'm the founder of Heart-Powered Business. Our mantra is speak up, scale up, impact the world. Because when you speak up, you boost your visibility, you attract more clients, you multiply your income, like many of our clients have done. Once you have the money, right, then you have the budget to scale your business more, you gain your time back. And once you get scale, you get your time back, you have the budget and the time to do something even more amazing, like two of our sisters clients, that one of them in Switzerland, one in Pakistan. They built a Montessori school in Pakistan now, where there's hundreds of kids, especially girls, getting access to education that otherwise they would never have. So that is our mantra: speak up, scale up, impact the world. And we have by now helped thousands of clients from more than 50 countries go professional with their speaking, double, triple, and even quadruple their income with our Voice to Millions framework. I myself have been a paid speaker for more than 20 years. I've been on stages in more than 30 countries around the globe. But this session today is not about me at all. It's about our amazing expert guest, and mostly it's about you. So if you are serious actually to step up with your speaking further, what we do is we run a 3 month, and I'm going to say that up front before I give the stage to our guest, to our amazing, inspiring speaker. But I want to let you know that we run a 3 month professional speaker launch program where we guide you through the concrete 8 steps that you need to really get booked and paid consistently as a speaker and grow your business through speaking. So I would suggest that we have our amazing Brenda with us. Brenda, if you can share the link, to our page on that, just copy the link, have a look after the session, and see if this is something that you would like to embark on that journey with us. And also, if you have any questions, you can always book a one-on-one coffee chat with me, and we should share the link of that in the chat as well. But let me again say it one more time. This session is not about me or about our business, all about you and about our precious guest who will inspire you to really get practical hints and tips that you can apply in your business for your speaking right away. You can ask your own personal questions on how to make your speaking and your business flourish even further. Also connect and exchange with other professional speakers from around the globe. And also just, some of you, it's lunchtime, right? For the Europeans, it's breakfast time in the US. It's, evening dinner time for the Asians. Take a break and get inspired with us. Okay. So just a couple of interactive reminders. You can ask your questions as we go through the session at any time. We'll ask them at the end of the session. We'll have extra time for that planned. Also, please mute yourself when you're not speaking. If you want to ask a question later on in our Q&A part of the session, then you can unmute yourself and jump in. Okay. Also, keep in mind, you can have your camera on. We love you to have your camera on. You're all speakers. You want to be seen. Just be aware if you ask a question, you're being recorded because we are recording this call. Okay. So every month we have an amazing guest, and no other this month as well. And we're talking about an uplifting topic. And this, today we're going to talk about the 3 secrets for heart-centered, heart-powered entrepreneurs and speakers to get paid corporate speaking engagements. And I know, I'm sure that a lot of you have wondered, who are those people that get these 10,000, 15,000 euro or pound speaking gigs, and how are they making that happen, right? Let me ask you right here, right now, right? Show of hands, how many of you would like to get paid higher fees as a speaker? And, of course, it's an obvious, that's why you're here, right? So, the thing is, it's not small business. It's actually corporates with the budget to invest in hiring impactful speakers. So today, in our session today, our guest will share the 3 essential secrets to not only land paid corporate speaking gigs, but to do it in a way that you are feeling and you're showing up being authentic and fully aligned with your values. You talk about how you position yourself as a sought after expert and leverage your network to attract high paying corporate clients, all the while staying true to your heart centered, heart powered approach. Okay. So I know that, some of you are just starting out, whether you're just starting out or you're ready to scale your business, speaking business further, this session will give you the tools to turn your passion into even more profit. Okay. And all of that authentically. We'll talk about how you position yourself as a trusted expert, how you craft talks that solve business challenges, how you build relationships with decision makers to really get booked at a higher fee, and how you stay authentic in the corporate market. Okay. And I know you might be wondering who is the guest we are having today. And she's an amazing lady. And we have an amazing friend that we had as a guest a little while back. And she said, Monique, you have to have Michelle because she is really the expert in that field of how to get booked and paid by corporates. And Michelle Raymond, our guest today, she is a leadership strategist, an HR futurist with more than 20 years of experience helping organizations future-proof leadership pipelines, increase retention, and embed inclusion. She works at the intersection of cultural intelligence, innovation, and AI-powered workforce transformation, advising senior leaders across finance, education, technology, and government. She's also the creator of the Diverse Business and Tech Summit and the author of David's Guide to Goliath. Michelle divides her time between Dubai and London, being the corporate's trusted guide and the go-to expert for entrepreneurs and speakers, helping them to secure corporate contracts. Michelle, it's amazing to have you. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Monique. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. Pleasure to be here.
Great. All over to you. How do we land these
Awesome.
amazing corporate gigs and get paid the fees that we know we deserve?
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you so much. So, guys, it's so good to be here in front of you to share my experience with you. I'm really excited to really get this kicked off. So, I just want to see in the chat, all of my talks are hugely interactive, right? And I'm going to share with you a couple of techniques that you can do straight away to position yourself for visibility with corporate buyers. And when I'm saying corporate buyers, because I want to show you that speaking is just the beginning. There's so much more that you can offer to organizations. So put a one in the chat if you've ever spoken in front of a corporate audience. It could be a company, it could be a fintech. Just put a number one in the chat and put a number three in the chat if yes, you would love to. You haven't yet, but you've got the skills and the capability and you think you could do this. Put a one or a three in the chat. Awesome. Good to see it. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Brilliant. So keep them coming so I can just gauge where everybody is. I'm going to start sharing my presentation with you. And there's a couple of things I'm going to ask you to do during the session. And these are the things that I have done myself that has worked incredibly well. I know all the cheats, guys. I know all the little secrets to get in. We don't have time for you know, long pitching, like 2 years of pitching to speak at a global conference. I'm going to show you some of the tricks that I've used. So are you all okay with that? Put a thumbs up if you're happy with that. Awesome. So let's get started. Sharing my screen now. So hopefully you can all see my screen. And I'm going to share with you the secrets right now. So let's just put that there. Okay, so first things first, just a little bit more about me. Monique did a brilliant job, actually, a really good job. But one thing I wanted to add here is I've put here, I'm a supplier diversity advocate. That means I'm always advocating for the underdogs, the ones who don't always get they don't always get the recognition, the people that don't always get the big keynotes. So I'm always advocating to company, the people like us, the small entrepreneurs, the small business owners, to be visible, to be counted. So I wanted to just share that with you. I'm also I found a co-founder of a tech platform called Texoma, where we gather tech news in the Middle East. That's where I am now, and across Africa and Canada. Right. So I'm not going to bore you on too much. You can feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. And one thing I'm going to share with you about LinkedIn is ensuring that you have social media footprint. It is a game changer, and I'm going to show you why it's a game changer. Okay. So like I said before, I'm a speaker and I've spoken all over the world. And these are all different corporate engagements that I've spoken at different capacities, some as keynotes, some as session speakers, and some as panel speakers. Once, if you if you put yourself in a position where you want to speak at an event, they don't know who you are, but you know who they are. You have to make sure that you have proof that you can do what you're asking to do. All right. So this is proof, and I'm going to show you how you can gather your own. And I've spoken to loads of brands, some well-known brands that you'll notice, like Mac Products, Amazon, Sky, and probably some less well-knowns like Bergen Bank, Talent Scale, and they're based in India and they're based in the Middle East as well. So I'm going to share with you three things and feel free if you want to take screenshots of anything that I will share. I'm not precious. We're all here to share and to learn. And one thing about me, I'm never a gatekeeper. Never a gatekeeper. So anything I have, if it's mine, it's yours. We're all heart-centered entrepreneurs. The first thing is I'm going to show you how you can use your partnerships or people as partnerships and referrals. Then I'm going to show you how you become a person of interest. You have to be a person of interest. They are no company is going to hire you to speak and pay you 5, 10, or 15K if you're not an important person. But we're going to show you how we can be important without being celebrities, without being influencers. Well, none of us are that, but I'm going to show you how we can become a person of interest and then position that person of interest. How do you show up? What do you say? What do you not say? What things should you be talking about on social media to get the eyeballs of companies? Okay. So that's what we're going to be working on. So the first thing is partnerships and referrals. Now, I know many of you have probably heard this before. Your network is your net worth. Absolutely correct. But I can guarantee you, not many people know how to really utilize their network, how to leverage their network. So they're not using people, but they are leveraging it for gain for both parties. And I'm going to show you how to do that. And partly of this process is understanding that all of your resources are held in relationships. You do not have to do the old school of banging on doors. You can still do that and it still makes a difference. But you will get further in your speaking career through the nurturing of relationships. And I call them the horizontal and the vertical partnerships. So let me explain to you what they look like in part. The horizontal partnerships is where you look at people who are on the same level or your peers. Now, we're all in here, we're all speakers of some degree. But how many of you have actually said to
Jo,
someone else, have actually
ja, ich
said
bin
to
zwar
someone else,
in einem
or
Webinar,
said to
aber auch
Suzanne,
still. Kein Problem.
um, who have said, Suzanne, I know that you're a speaker. Do you know of any speaking engagements that are happening? Actually asking people in your network. And I'm going to show you all the benefits of that. So first and foremost, people at your level who are fellow consultants, coaches, they know of opportunities and you can reach out to them and find out what is happening, where have they spoken. I have a thing that I do. I look at people who are doing what I do, and people see them as my competitor, but really I'm seeing them as collaborators. And I have a look and see where have they spoken? Where did they speak this time last year? So that I'm positioned right for to apply for those engagements. So these are things that you can be doing right now. Another thing that you can be doing is working on joint ventures. How can I work with my fellow peers so we can pitch to an organization? So we're not just doing a one and done, just one speaking engagement. We're coming in to probably do one speaking engagement, but we want to leave with a contract. And it doesn't need to be a contract of speaking, it'd be a contract of consulting, a contract for consultancy. It could be you can have a retainer gig. And I'm going to talk to you more about that later because I've got like at least 15 ways that you can use your voice. And speaking is just one of them. Speaking is just one of them. Because companies, they will hire in a speaker and hopefully they would like that speaker who can do other things. So I can hire it as a speaker for my conference, and then you can deliver training for my leaders next week. I can hire you as a workshop facilitator in May, knowing that in August you can do a team away day. So how many of you have skills which go further than speaking? Put a 2 in the chat. If that's you, you can do more than speak. Put a 2 in the chat. That's up. Brilliant, brilliant. Good. I would like to think that you can do more than speaking, right? So, and using your the benefits of the horizontal referrals and partnerships is that you are all in the same circuit. So there's places I've spoken that of course you can speak. I'm in Dubai at the moment, and I've got a speaking engagement on Saturday. And then I've got to be in Saudi in October. And I'll show you how I got those speaking engagements. And they're for corporates, they're for companies or conferences. But I had to, one of them, I use my peer-to-peer network. She was able to bring me in, and I've done the same thing for others. I had a gig in Portugal. They reached out to me and I said, if you want me, I come with 3 other speakers. That was the criteria. And I said, if you want me to speak at your conference or do your roundtable, I can do that. But I've got another 3 other speakers who are just as good, just as credible, and who can do a job just as well as myself. So that's what we did. And so I was able to bring them in. It meant that my fee was reduced and they paid them some more. My fee was reduced because I then had to split mine against another 3 people. But I was happy to do so. Why? Because A, they paid really well. And B, I wanted to bring other speakers. I wanted to bring other heart-centered businesses who I know if I do a good job with them, they'll return the favor. And that's how we've got to look at speaking. How can we bring other people on the journey with us? Now, your vertical now are going to be people within the organization. These are the decision makers. They could be HR, they could be event organizers, they could be ERG facilitators, which stands for Employee Resource Group. So you can speak to them and find out what's going on within the organization and how can I be a part of this so that I can help solve the problem and actually let them know that you do talks. And this works really, really well. And I'll share the strategy with you. And I'm telling you, I've had people who have done this strategy and they've run with it and they've made a 10K speaking engagement. And I've had people who've come on my free courses and they've just done that one strategy. And this is the strategy. And it encompasses your horizontal and your vertical. It's called the 3 I's. You're going to want to make a note of this. Your 3 I's: insiders, influencers, and impacted to get your speaking engagement. Your insiders are employees, people inside the organization. They know about what's happening inside the organization. You may know someone who is an accountant inside a company or talent management inside a company, and they're your friends. You can reach out to them and find out, who do I need to speak speak at your next conference for your organization? Almost every organization runs a conference. All you need to do is think of three employees that you know. It's such an easy strategy. If I was to say to you now, think of 3 people. Could you think of 3 people who, and one of them could be your neighbor? They could be somebody that you go shopping with or you meet at the school gates, and they are employees who could bring you into the organization. Then you have the influencers. These are people who shape decisions, and they may be like heads of departments. They could be department heads or department leads. And you may know somebody. I did the same exercise. I do the same exercise once a month because, our network refreshes all the time. And I totally forgot that I know the head of division for American Express. I speak to him all the time. And I totally forgot. And I thought, Michelle, I have people in my network right now that I'm not even utilizing. And so obviously I spoke to him and I said, listen, Clyde, I want to do more speaking in the UAE. How do I position myself? How do I position my brand? It's the same thing. Influencers. These are people who are decision makers of some sort within an organization. You just need to find three and then be impacted. Let's say if you're a well-being expert and you speak on well-being, how many people do you know need what you have? And they are employees. These are the end users. These are the people who are affected by your talk. Have you asked them? How about you tell me who I need to speak to be able to deliver a talk, a workshop, a facilitation, a lunch and learn, a roundtable within your organization? And because these people are the people that need what you have, you can co-create a proposal together. This is one of the best strategies that I have used to get speaking engagement, the 3 I's. It's a strategy that works. I had somebody who came on one of my free webinars. They heard this, and I gave them half an hour to look at their WhatsApp, their diaries, their calendar, their LinkedIn, and find at least 5 people for each and ring them, WhatsApp them, direct message them on the spot. She did it. And I don't know, say about 3 weeks later, she sent me a message on LinkedIn. She goes, Michelle, I did it. And I've got my very first 10K, £10,000 speaking gig. And then a week later, she got another one, which was 15K, literally because she totally forgot that she knows a CEO, that she knows a head of division. She knows another employee and they brought them in. And that's how you can use your network to leverage you to get corporate and speaking engagements. Does that make sense, guys? Let me know. Put a yes in the chat. Was there any aha moments on that? Just put it in the chat. If yes is like, oh my God, Michelle, I know somebody. Of course I can speak to them. Let me know in the chat. Just put it a yes in the chat if you think this is something you can do. It's not hard. I'm not giving you any hard work to do here. The second thing is person of interest. Now, if you have any questions, put them in the chat. Put them in the chat, and I will definitely get to them at the end. For any company to hire you, if you're not going to be referred in, and because the reference might be good enough, they don't need to do any more due diligence. But if they have to do due diligence, you must be a person of interest, which means you must be a subject matter expert. I wanted to share some of these quotes. 47% of C-suite executives say they will share information with sellers after reading some quality thought leadership. So you have to write. You've got to write, guys. And with AI now, if you don't like writing, you can speak it and you can get it converted. 58% of decision makers say they will choose a business based on the thought leadership, what content they've seen either in magazines, publications, blogs, long form articles. 61% said that they are willing to pay premium. That means they'll pay higher than normal to work with a brand that articulates a clear vision through their thought leadership content. So, how many of you are writing at the moment? Either you're being featured in blogs or articles, or you're writing articles on LinkedIn. Just put a number 2 in the chat for me if you're doing this already, so I can just see in terms of numbers. Awesome. Yes, but yeah, good. I'm seeing the numbers. Brilliant. This is good. And I'm going to share with you what type of content, because there's content and then there's content. When you're doing content for companies, It's got to be positioned in a certain way. You've got to say keywords, right? And I'm doing a glossary of corporate keywords that when they hear it, their ears just light up. So, subject matter expert. All of us here on this call, we're all experts in our own right. And that's what you will talk about. The problem is some of us are not showing our expertise. Now, these um, uh, titles or themes, take a screenshot of this. This is what companies are willing to pay for quickly and handsomely. Yeah. Now, if you do something and it's not there, it doesn't mean they don't pay for that type of talk. I'm just showing you the ones through research are the ones that they pay regularly for and they pay well. Anything on artificial intelligence at the moment, definitely. Anything on work-life balance, depending on where in the world you want to talk, because it wouldn't work here in Dubai. They don't do much on work-life balance. Um, but it's, customer service, digital marketing, teamwork, leadership development is huge across the globe. So just put in the chat, which ones could you talk on? It could be one or two, or just put, if it's teamwork, put teamwork. If it's HR, human resources, put HR. Let me see which ones that you guys would say you're an expert in, a subject matter expert. Let's have a look in the chat. Yes, listen, I'm here to validate you, my darling. I'm here to validate you. Presentation skills, yes, yes, yes. So that will come under comms. So that's brilliant. Change management, definitely, especially with VUCA and the changing world of work and so much shifts are happening within organizations. That when there's shifts happening in the world, shifts will happen in organizations. AI for beginners, perfect, perfect. Conflict trust is a massive thing. They will pay for trust. And think about people who talk about trust and who have lots of books about trust. They also do talks about trust. Good. Work-life balance, most definitely. Most definitely. What else have we got? Mindfulness, definitely. D&I. And even D&I is taking a hard, it's getting a hard um it's being pillaged at the moment, I would say. If D&I feels like it's difficult to break through because of what's happening in the US, another term you can use, but still under the guise of D&I, is emotional intelligence or cultural intelligence, I should say. Yeah. So if you can talk about D&I, you could probably talk about cultural intelligence. Awesome. Awesome. Keep them coming, guys. I love it. Love the engagement. So at least you know I've validated you, right? Because this is what companies are looking for. I speak to companies all the time, all the time. Banks, financial services, marketing, design, creative, oil and gas, trades. And this is what they're talking about. I just have conversations with them so I know what's topical, what's themed. So what you need to be, now I don't know if any of you have know anything around McKinsey, BCG or Gartner. These are well known and well read industry consumer insights. If what I want you to do is look at your subject matter expert and go onto one of these and see what they're writing about it, because they have current up-to-date research. So when you're doing your talks are current, your talks are topical, your talks are relevant to what's happening in society. Yeah. And these three, there's others, obviously Deloitte, they do research papers, they all do research papers. And it's really good to get a feel of what's being said, and then you create your own. You create your own, like doing a white paper or a case study, or you can do a briefing document. They love this. They would hire me as a speaker because they've read my briefing document. So I will talk about entrepreneurship, and how you can retain your top leaders by building an entrepreneurship framework within the organization. Because a lot of people are leaving to be entrepreneurs and they don't make it as entrepreneurs. I'm showing how companies can keep them and allow them to become entrepreneurs, but within the organization. Now, if I was to write a document about that, and when we sell B2C, we call it ebooks. We don't call it ebook with corporates. We call it a briefing document, a white paper. When we do that, it allows us to be positioned as an expert. So this is what I want you to start thinking about. Start publishing more long form articles. If they're going to get you to speak, they are going to go straight onto LinkedIn and see what have you written about what you want to speak about. And a lot of us are multifaceted. We're multi-skilled, which means we do a bit of this, and a bit of that, and a bit of this. And that's perfectly fine. But as long as if you wanted to speak at GITEX Global, or if you wanted to speak at the next Wellbeing Summit, make sure there are long form articles where you're talking about well-being. Yeah? Start creating white papers. They're like ebooks, guys. They're like reports. And it's just given the title of white paper. What makes them a white paper is your research, putting in some data, putting in some stats. That's what makes it a white paper. Create your own and put it on LinkedIn. Put it on your website. It's so easy to do. And start producing more case studies. We're so used to doing testimonials. I want you to elevate. Go higher. And the next step is case studies. So if you've worked with someone and you've been able to transform them, talk about that, where they were before, what they were with your intervention, and what they are now. That's the case study. And then you say, that's why I speak about this, because I'm an expert in this. There needs to be social media content. You've got to use the right call to actions. We're so used to say, DM me now. You can't use that when you're trying to get speaking engagements with corporates. You will create your content, and then you might say, if you're interested in hearing more about my 3-step framework, I actually have a talk about this. Click this link to find out here, to find out more. I have, and which I'm going to give all of you, everyone that stays to the end, I'm going to give you the calls to actions. I am going to give you, I have a toolkit with this, and I'm giving it for you for free. And there's 20 call to actions that you can use any time of the day on whatever platform. And I will give you all the types of content to write for corporates. So don't worry about that. I'll give you all of that. But it makes such a difference in terms of being that person of interest and, of course, positioning. So before we go on to the last thing, how is that so far? Are you getting it? Can you see how it makes sense? How companies will hire you to speak after they've looked you up on LinkedIn, and they can see that, okay, that person is real. That person knows what they're talking about. And I think part of the positioning is, if you've written a book around your subject matter, talk about it. I've just written a book, David's Guide to Goliath. And this is called Strategies for Small Business Owners to Land Big Contracts. So effectively, it's for entrepreneurs. But how I'm pitching it to companies to get in to do a talk is, I'll say, David's Guide to Goliath, and the Davids are your employees who want to leave to rival companies like yours, the Goliaths. How do you keep them so they don't become the Davids of the world? So can you see how I've repositioned the book I made for consumers, but now it's getting me speaking engagements. I am doing a talk within a bank out here called Mashreq Bank, and I'm talking about the book, and I'm getting them to buy the book in bulk. So I'm showing how there's more ways you can work, not just through speaking. So my question to you is, if a company viewed your LinkedIn today, would it show that you're a corporate speaker? Just have a think about that. If I said to you right now, if I said, okay, Helen or Monique, there's a company in the US, well, probably not the US with all what's happening at the moment. Let's try a different country. Like there's a gig happening in the UK, right? And they're looking for a speaker who can speak on leadership. And all these companies, they always say, let me see something about them first. If I was to share Helen's LinkedIn or Helen's Instagram, would it show that Helen speaks about leadership development? Is there content of Helen speaking? Is there content of Helen running a facilitation or a workshop or a roundtable? That's the proof that they need. That's the proof that they need. So let me show you how you can do this. You need to present, and I'm calling it your offer, but it could be a book, it could be consultancy, it could be coaching. You've got to offer it with clarity and authenticity because I'll show you the difference. When you invite them to work with you as a speaker, it's different from you saying, if you do this, it's going to cost you that much. It's not transactional. Companies usually hire speakers, probably sometimes for one-off for a conference, but what we want to do is be in there longer. So the speaking is only the entry to more work, more speaking. And speaking can be speaking at workshops, speaking at roundtables. So you want to share that, actually, I really like your company. Any company that I pitch to speak, I do my research and I try and link what do they do? How does it marry with what I can offer? And I did this to a company in Brixton in Southwest London. And she said to me, Michelle, your speaker fee is higher than a couple of other people that we wanted to have. But we're going to go with you because you took time out to really understand us. You took time out to understand me. I actually asked her, what is happening with her? How can I make her look good? If she's going to bring me in as a speaker, how can I make her look good? And that made the difference. And that's how I got that speaking gig. Being authentic, being clear, being real, and showing that I'm not perfect at all. I'm far from perfect. But I can show them that even in my imperfections, I can be perfect for the company. Yeah. Pricing is another thing, and I'm going to share with you a rate card. Pricing. You need to price yourself in a way that it honors you and it honors them. And this is why I say this. Many coaches will say, value yourself, price yourself 50K for a speaking engagement, when really and truly, the value that you bring to the table is probably only worth 2,000. You might say, oh, Michelle, that's not right, that's not fair. It's very fair and it's very right. Shall I tell you why? You have to make sure that when you're pricing authentically and not because somebody told you to. I know when I had to do a talk at a record label, and the talk that I was doing, it wasn't the best talk, and I knew it wasn't the best talk. And I priced it at £3,000 to do this talk. And my mentor at the time was saying, no, 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 price it at 5, price it at 10. But it didn't sit right with me. Your pricing has to be comfortable to you. And I wanted to honor that, how I felt. So I priced it at 3K. I went in, they paid me the 3,000. While I was there on my presentation, I told them what else I can do. And they got me back in to deliver a menopause session. I knew nothing about menopause. But I delivered the session, but I brought in somebody else with me who did. And we co-delivered this workshop. And the price that my mentor said I should have charged the first time is what we got paid the second time. So I say this to say, you have to do what's right for you. And it's so easy for other people to tell you what to do, how to price, but you need to do what's right for you. Honor your own value and honor the impact that you'll make on other people. Does that make sense, what I'm saying? I'm not telling you to cut your prices or go cheap. I just want you to have an honest conversation with self. Do you feel comfortable charging at this fee? A lot of us are told to just charge like huge amounts, and it's so much hard work to get it across the line. And share stories of transformation, testimonials, and why speaking at this event is important. This is something I did more recently. So out here in Dubai, there is a massive, massive event. It's actually one of the biggest female-run conferences, and it's happening at the Royal Atlantis. It's called We Convention. Back in May, I pitched to them to speak. Didn't hear anything. Fine. I pitched again at the end of May and at the beginning of June. Didn't hear anything. And I thought, let me change this. Let me go deeper and share with them why I'm pitching, not just because I'm a good speaker and I've spoken around the world. I looked at what their theme was, and I said to them how their theme impacted me. And their theme was talking about impact and money and wealth and family. And I talked about, and I shared just a little bit about my personal story with my ex-husband and how my ex-husband made me feel with the things that he'd done. And I talked about how my ex-husband ended up being imprisoned, and I had to deal with the guilt and the weight of my husband at the time being in prison for a crime that he committed, a heinous crime. And I shared a little bit about how society treated me, how people spat in my face, how people put bricks through my window. This time he was in prison, or he was on bail in a different city. But because I was his wife, I bear the brunt of his crimes. And I said, this is why I want to speak at your event, to show that you can live again, that there is a brighter tomorrow. When I shared that little clip, and I was able to talk about it because I've done a TEDx talk about it, called The Invisible Victims of Crime. But that bit made the turnaround. They contacted me like less than a week after I said that, and they said, Michelle, we've listened, read what you've said, and then we checked you out, that due diligence, so they can see that I'm not lying. I've done a TEDx talk about it. They can see that I talk a lot, and I speak in different places. I've got content. They said, we would love to have you. Now, do you know that they've secured all their speakers? The event is happening in November. And they said, we are going to carve out space for you. I am now doing a round table. We've got Anna Wintour coming from wherever she's traveling in from. We've got the Dubai government coming. We've got the royal family coming, and they've asked me to do a round table. And they're putting me on in the morning, and the mornings are really good, are the best time out here. And they're giving me prime spot. Look at that. Literally because I shared a transformational story that made the difference. Now, we all have stories. They don't need to be as tragic as mine. Yeah, they don't need to be, and they don't have to be tragic at all. You just need to show that why speaking is important. And then all of these things, you can take a screenshot of this. You can take a screenshot. This is why I always speak about speaking beyond the mic. You become a trusted partner. So I'm even talking with them and saying, I'll do this round table, but what else can I do? How else can I serve? I'm trying to unlock even bigger budgets for myself. I want to build that long-term relationship with We Council out here. As part of all of this, I'm delivering a talk in Saudi Arabia. So I've never been to Saudi Arabia, but I want to create multiple streams of income through my speaking. And you can do the same. So let me show you what other things you can offer as part of your speaking. So take a screenshot of that. Yeah. You can do train the trainer. You can do ongoing retainers. So you go in to speak, but you also let them know, I want to build a longer term relationship with Amazon. I want to build a longer term relationship with your brand, with the Apple brand or whatever brand. It doesn't need to be those big brands. It could be smaller companies. But let them know what else you can do. Someone said to me, clothes closed mouths don't get fed. And I love that. I don't know whose quote that is, but I love it. Closed mouths don't get fed. And every time you speak, you'll get fed. Every time you speak, you can feed others. Because I'm always saying, bring others on the journey. It's not just for ourselves, bring others on the journey. And that's how I look at work. So even I'm speaking at this convention here, I'm already asking them what workshops. And I said, I can get a team of other speakers to help deliver on the workshop. So it's not just me. So these are all the other things that you can do. I wanted to share this with you. And we're coming down. So get ready with your questions. Depending on where you are now, I would say a beginner is a beginner, right? Is you're new, but you're still a subject matter expert. You might be new to speaking to companies, but you're not new to speaking. You can definitely charge around the 2.5K mark, even more than that. If you've got some experience speaking a lot and probably still not with corporate, you can put yourself in the average category, and that's how much you can be charging. And then once you've secured 1 or 2 speaking engagements with companies, easily you can charge 5 to 10. When I was working in HR and used to bring in speakers, we were paying the speakers between 15 to 20,000 pounds, and these are just dollars, right? That's how much we were paying. And sometimes we used speaker bureaus, and sometimes we went direct. My director said to me, Michelle, we need someone to speak at this property company. Find the person. What did I do? I went onto LinkedIn and I typed in people that talk about property. And I had a look. I read what they were saying. I saw where they spoke at. I looked at their content, and I then hired them to speak at our conference, and they've got paid £15,000. It's not rocket science, guys. It's not rocket science. You just need to understand your market, which you all know, and understand what are they really looking for and can I do it? What are they looking for their conference? And even when they're not looking, pitch. We conventional weren't looking for any more speakers, but I still pitched. Yeah. And these are the prices you can charge. And out of that, put in the chat for me as we come to an end. Beginner, average, good, established, authority. Which one are you currently? Which one are you currently? Put in the chat for me. Let's have a look. Lots of engagement in the chat, guys. Love it, love it, love it. Beginner, beginner. Yeah, beginner's fine. Average. Yes, Dr. Anu. I'm good, but I asked for average. Listen, and a lot of people do that. A lot of do, and it's a mindset thing, it's a confidence thing, is it will I get it thing. And like I said before, ask at a price that feels comfortable to sell. Because there's nothing worse asking for, you might be good and you should be charging 10,000, but your brand doesn't say 10,000. Your content doesn't say 10,000. So all of that matters. All of that matters. When my mentor was saying to me, charge more, my brand was saying 2,000, 1,000. I didn't have I didn't have my speaker bio. I didn't have any video footage. I didn't have all of that. I weren't writing content on what I wanted to speak at the conference for. So yeah, never feel bad about what you're charging. And what you charge doesn't equate to your value. It's what you feel comfortable at that time and knowing that you don't need to stay there. So, in closing, I just want to remind you that what I've shared with you, it matters irrespective of what country. I've done these exercises, the 3 I's I've done to get some of these in these some countries. I've done being that person of interest. I'm out here now and I'm building my brand strong out here. I'm trying to be featured in magazines, in blogs. I'm doing talks. I've just ordered a banner, a pull-up banner, because I've been invited to an event. And I said, I would love to bring my books with me. And I've only brought about 10 books with me, but I'm going to bring the books. But I've put a pull-up banner. It's all about that brand awareness. And these are like, some of the countries obviously I've spoken at as facilitators, as keynotes. So it's definitely something you can do. So your next step, if you don't do anything else, just do these two things that I'm going to ask you to do. Leverage your fruit. Get your three I's, your insiders, your influencers, and your impacted. That's all I need you to do. That's your leveraging your low-hanging fruit. The second thing I want you to do is start creating corporate worthy content because they're going to check you out. And that's why I've got that QR code on the screen. And that's why Monique will share a link with you. You can take my content for free, absolutely for free. All right. And because I want to see more of us speaking, I want to see more of us on the circuit because I think personally, heart-centered entrepreneurs and business owners have much more to give than those who are just about the money. And for us, it's not always about the money. So we need more of us, especially with what's going on in the world, the deaths, the killings. We need more of us. We need more of us. So I'm going to leave you with this toolkit. If you've got your phone, you can just scan the QR code, or Monique, if you could kindly put the link in the chat and use the word heart in the coupon code. You'll see that it's like £319 and I've got like a birthday special, so it's my birthday as well, guys. But for you, I want to give it to you for free. Just type in the word heart and you can have the instant download of all of these. I'll give you all the call to actions, what types of content to be putting out on each day, and what types of lead magnets to do. Once again, to get your corporate speaking engagements. Yeah, so that's there for you. I'll leave it on the screen for a bit. Monique, if you're there, I would love to open up
I'm
for
here.
questions.
I already shared in the chat, my dear.
Thank you. Thank you. So I'm going to come off, stop sharing the slide so that we can have a more engaged conversation. How was that for you guys? Let me know in the chat. Any takeaways? What are you going to do? You've got to take action after this. Even if it's the three I's and my toolkit, that is all.
I personally think it was really like a whole rainbow firework of film for a lot of you. Can I see a thumb up? I see quite a few of you on video. Yeah,
Yes.
thumb up. You took at least one indicator you take action on, friends, to get booked, secure your next speaking opportunity. Yes. So we also promised Michelle that we would answer a couple of individual questions. Is that okay with you? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good.
So I think it was kicked off by Johnny, which is a little bit of longer description. Johnny, do you want to hop on board and just share your message directly? I can also bring you in if you want to. I can also read it out if you prefer. So just unmute yourself, okay, Johnny, if you want to. If not, I'm just going to read it. So Johnny wrote, my deeper why used to be improving people's lives through environmental performance in China, being an environmental expert, and gave me many high value invitations. These days, I feel the world in general can benefit from better understanding China, having done business there for years, and embracing some Chinese values, but this is highly controversial. It keeps me from going full in. Should I worry about the lashback from those who do not support this idea? Today's polarization kind of freezes me to position. So
yes,
you and I have a lot to say about that.
Yeah, I love this. So I'll keep my answer brief, but you'll get what I mean. Companies, they will take you on as a speaker, even if you're talking about things that could be seen as risky, as long as it meets their own needs. So, for example, if you're speaking about something that in the world it's quite controversial, what you can say to the company is, I would love to do a talk on this within this remit. So you don't go too far left or too far right. They are happy they will definitely, because they want speakers who's going to challenge, who's going to push the boundaries a bit. But you want to push the boundaries within a safe haven, right? So I think it's definitely something you can pitch. It's definitely something you should be writing about and say that I'm available to speak about this and to share my thoughts or to host a roundtable where you host it and you get them speaking about it and they pay you to host it. So definitely it's something you can consider.
I think it's such a hot topic, Johnny. Just a little hint on my side. Just go all in for it. Okay. I think especially in current times, I know so many really, really highly paid speakers and experts that, work at corporates on helping them understand China and how to do business with China. I mean, come on, if you think about it, right? Some of the biggest populations sitting there. Okay. If you look at, business development, I mean, China is one of the fastest growing, yeah, business world. So I think there's a lot of people that have an interest in that. Just go all in. That's my suggestion for sure. And honestly, I personally believe, because some of you might say, oh, they're talking about China, but what about my topic? Let me tell you guys, put it in the right context. Okay, craft a juicy pitch. Okay, and by the way, we do have a pitching workshop, okay, or masterclass. If you're interested in that, send me a direct message here in the chat, which we are happy to give you access to even for free today. If you're interested in that, let us know. But again, in the right context, the right pitch. I think there's no topic under the sun that would not trigger some interest in the corporate world. Seriously. Okay. You just want to link it, whatever topic you have, link it ideally with one of the topics that Michelle shared that corporates are
Mhm.
especially interested in right now. Okay. And then again, go for it. Okay. So we had a beautiful message from Notesh as well. Also some appreciation, incredibly rich talk, Michelle, which I personally thought as well. So he was saying, what are the best things to focus on to get the first paid speaking gig? And I know there's a lot of people that have that kind of question, right?
Mhm.
And of course, as Notesh is saying, well, once we get the first one, the next ones are easier, right?
Mhm.
So yeah, what would you
So the
say?
first one, so let's say if obviously let's do it from the perspective that the company doesn't know you, they don't know you. Literally, the very first thing I would do is I would have a look at events that are happening that I would like to speak at. And I would like to speak because there's a commonality between either the event theme or what I talk about. And I would literally find the event organizer and you can dig deep on LinkedIn. On LinkedIn, every time there's an event, they have an event page. So you can either find them on Eventbrite or on LinkedIn, and you find out who works there. That's what I usually do. That's on one of the tabs on LinkedIn. And then I usually say, and this is what I've done and I still do, is I see that you've got an event happening in 6 months' time. I want to find out if you've got all the speakers for that. This particular theme resonated with me because of A, B, and C, and I deliver talks on there. Um, could you pass me on to the right person? That is it. I did this for John Lewis, never spoke at John Lewis, but I did the same thing. And I was pushed from pillar to post. They sent me to this person, then they sent me to this person. And then finally we got to the right person and I delivered a talk at John Lewis Partnership. So, and some I don't get, you're gonna get rejected a lot, but you don't know what you don't know. You don't know if you're going to be rejected so that's the very first thing I would do is look at events with a theme that's relevant to what I can speak about. Because they are not just looking for speakers, they're looking for solution providers. So as long as you can provide a solution through your talk, you're halfway there. Hopefully that's answered your question.
We have a lot more questions, which we won't be able to answer all of them, but here's another one from Simona, and and also maybe just to also Notesh, a couple of additional hints on yours. Again, how did I get my first paid speaking gigs? I spoke at events where there were corporate leaders, okay,
Mhm.
and I do both, okay. I sometimes speak free.
Mhm.
And even speaking free, I attract clients and I get paid more than even like what Michelle called the
Yes.
authority. Okay. So, at these kind of events, so go and speak at events where corporate leaders are hanging out in the audience. Because once they see you speak, they say, come and speak with us as well. And they have a budget. A lot of speakers do it this way. Okay. Another suggestion for all of you is speak at HR conferences if you can. Ideally, you get paid there and you have HR people that are often responsible for organizing events and they are happy to then also book you. Okay. a third quick hint from my side, like what Michelle said, partnerships, right? Speak to some friends that speak at corporate and say, hey, would you next time you speak somewhere, like what Michelle said, even if you say, and I love that advice, Michelle, saying, hey, I'm going to bring some people to this event.
Mhm.
Even if that's not possible because there's only one keynote speaker anyhow at that event, you could say they're always on the lookout for the next speaker. Okay. Even if you cannot bring other people to one event, say, hey, I know someone that should speak at your stage next to inspire your people. So, have some speaker friends. And that's why in our community, of course, people that are part of our program, our professional speakers launch program, they always open each other doors. So
Yeah.
that is tap into that network and say, where have you spoken? Can you bring my name into the game as well? Right. Okay, so Simona has a question on several topics, right? So she said, well, I could speak on many topics. How do I choose the one, possibly that has the greatest potential, right? Michelle, what would you say about
You
that?
choose the one that the company thinks has greater potential. So it's less about what you think. Let's say if you typed in a company now, Rolls-Royce, yeah, or Mercedes, and you looked on your Mercedes website and you looked at the events that they're happening this year, you look at the themes of they create the theme, and then you just choose out of the things that you can talk about which one closely relates to their theme. So it's less about, oh, I can speak about all of these things because they may not want any of these things. And it's always going to be about what their theme and their topics are. And what you can do is try and see how you can amend what you talk about to fit their theme. That's the same like what I did with my book. My book is not really for corporates at all, but how I talk about the principles of people and how people fighting the giants in their lives. So, and it can still apply to employees. So I want companies to buy the book in bulk, which companies do. But that's another thing for everybody. If any authors here, companies buy books in bulk, and on the basis of the book, then buying the book, they're going to want to cut the author in. So you can say, I would then love to do a talk and say a day in a life with the author or meet the author. So it's got to be relevant to what they're looking for.
Exactly. Great. So then there was a question from Hillary on fees. Is there a difference, depending on where you speak? The short answer is yes. The more sophisticated answer comes from Michelle.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, most definitely. It all depends on the economy of the company, of the country as well. And interesting enough, right? I'm in the UAE, and everybody outside the UAE thinks you get paid more in the UAE. That is not the case. It's not actually the case. People think you get paid more because there's no taxes, right? So there's different. You've just got to it's less about country specific and the variations. It's going to be based on how much they think you're worth, effectively. The more credibility and well-knownness you have, you can command more money. But yeah, they will vary across countries for sure, for sure.
Right. Okay. There's another question from, I think, okay, I see there's a lot of love for you, Michelle, and even happy
Thank you.
birthday wishes. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Happy birthday. And there's another one from, give me a second, where was I now? Give me a second. I just moved my thing. I think there was another one give me a second. Um, Raphael, do you want to come in and just share yours verbally?
Sure. Thank you very much. Very full of insights and good tips.
Thank you.
There was one question that hit me was um, you said you were going to pitch people or pitch organization, but how do you find the space to pitch? I mean, do you make cold calls? That's first question.
Mhm,
And the second question is, you said activate your network, but
mhm.
how do you ask people to do something for you when they're busy, they have a zillion other things without begging
Yeah, I
and,
love that.
and, and showing a sign, I would say, of weakness?
Yes, I love that. But do you know what? It's such a great question. So, in terms of the first part of your question is how do you do it, or where do you find the time? Cold call. I don't cold call at all. But what I do is like the one for We Connect, I see it advertised, and then I just reach out to the event organizer. I just drop them an email and say, "This is who I am. This is what I would love to do. Is there space? Are you the right person?" So, it's just a standard. You can just get ChatGPT to write it for you effectively. But yeah, I just literally send them emails, and I always show proof. So I will always add, and you must add links, not attachments, by the way. That's for everybody. They won't open attachments because it could, I don't have cyber issues. So I always send links of reputable links. So YouTube. So I will make sure I have videos of me speaking on YouTube. I've got testimonials of people speaking about what I speak about on YouTube. So I just send them the link. So at least they've got proof there for them to make a decision. So that's what I do in terms of the pitching. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Yeah, being very honest, like if they're busy or yeah, it doesn't, sometimes it does work. And in terms of asking people without begging, this is where I believe in the law of reciprocity. It's going to be very unfair to them if you're asking somebody that you don't even help them. So it's a law of reciprocity. I always believe in build it before you need it. That's one of my sayings. So I build my relationships with people where I'm always giving. So when it's time for payback, I need something from you. I've deposited. I've deposited over the years. I've deposited over the months. So people are always willing to help me out. My daughter's looking for a new job, for example, and there's a number of people that I've either sown in their lives or I've just been a listening ear and they give. So that's what you've got to make sure that you're not the type of person who is always asking, but never giving. And that's how people they'll bend over backwards to help you. Definitely.
Thank you very much. I agree with everything you've said. My experience is I've helped a lot of people, open the doors for them that I never got. Very few of them, I would say, came back and did the reciprocity effect thing. Now,
Yeah.
but the other question was, this is for peers, for people who are in the speaking, but when you want to activate people who are not in the speaking, how do you ask them to talk to their company or to open the door? That's what I'm talking about.
So you remember at the top of the hour, I talked about the 3 I's. So that's the exercise I use. I think of at least 3 people who I know, who I've got a relationship with, who are employees, who I know if I ask them, they're definitely going to say, "Oh yeah, actually I know." Even my husband, I'd even totally forgotten. My husband's an employee. He works for Legal and General. I said, "Babes, who should I speak to about doing a lunch and learn with your IT?" And he goes, "Oh yes. Oh, let me introduce you." That's it. So it's 3 employees, 3 influencers, and I see influencers in a company like a heads of department. I used to be a HR director, and I know other HR directors. Why have I not even asked them? And the HR directors will know what's going on in a company. And if they know you're good, Raphael is good, why wouldn't they want to bring you in? Because you're going to make them look good as well. And then you think about people who actually need what you have and speak to them and say, actually, who do you know who I could speak to in your organization? And they are more than happy. And to save them time, I create the email for them. I call it a self-forwarding email, which means I create the email and say, "Hi, let me do an introduction. This is Michelle. Michelle, meet Raphael, blah, blah, blah." I do it for them. So all they have to do is copy and paste. It takes no time at all. If you leave it for them to work out what your bio is, if you leave it to them to, "Oh, what shall I say?" and they won't do it. So I actually create it for them and say, just copy and paste and copy me in. It costs them nothing.
And I also think that it's a question of relationship, right? Raphael, start with the people that trust and love you most. Okay,
Yeah.
People are excited about you and your topic and what you bring, right? And have a conversation with them and say, "Hey, you know what? Also, people that are excited about who you are and what you do, why would they not want to introduce you?" Okay. And another thing is, reciprocity is a law. Okay, I understand that you say you might have introduced some people and gave, open doors for them as, to speaking opportunities, and they didn't come back or didn't do anything for you, right? But again, we just keep doing it. The more we do it, the more people say, "Oh my God, I got already 3 speaking gigs from Raphael. Now I need to actually rather, pay back in some way." Also, what you could do is, even up front, as you build that kind of reciprocity relationship, that partnering relationship, you can have an open conversation first and say, "Hey, you know, first of all, you find out, do they have speaking opportunities? Because if they don't have them, they have nothing to share with you." A lot of people say, "I want to build a partnership. Yes, let's introduce each other," but they don't have any to introduce you to. Okay, so partner with people that do have these speaking opportunities on a regular basis, that are used to being paid high fees on a regular basis, because then for them it's easier to bring you into the right space, into the right organization, where they are willing and open and happy to pay their fees, big bucks, their speakers bigger bucks, right? So make sure that, again, they have speaking opportunities. Make sure you understand what speaking fee they get paid, so you're actually at the same similar level as a speaker, okay? And then really have a heart-to-heart conversation. Say, "Hey, when I bring you one, are you willing to bring me some?" Okay, so again, and then you see, right, over time, you open doors for others, right? You see, are they paying back? And then you filter out people that don't return it. You don't bring them in anymore either. You see what I mean? It's just building, it's like normal building partnership, right? Yeah. Great, love it. So
Thank you.
thank you, Raphael, for your question. Thank you all for your questions, and thank you in the first place, Michelle, for being on with us today. I know you showered everyone with a lot of ideas, concrete hints and tips. Thank you for sharing your precious gift. Okay, so everyone, make sure you download it. Again, if you enter the code HEART, it's hard, okay, like the heart, like your body part, heart and not heart, okay, it's hard. You get even 100% discount, okay, do it today, okay, to make sure
It
you
didn't
don't
work.
miss it.
It didn't work. I just did it and I was charged 316
Okay,
pounds.
just copy paste the link into your browser. I know I had some issues with that as well in the past, but if you copy paste the link into the browser, it should work.
So
I've been charged. I
did
have been
you
charged.
so when you clicked it, did you put your coupon code in heart?
Yes, I did.
And did it say 000 at the
It
end?
did not.
Okay, all
Okay,
right.
can you
Let's
send
take
can
it
you send my team an email? Okay. We're just gonna, share our email address with you. It's
Yes, please.
it's hello at heartpoweredbusiness.com. Okay. Send us an email, we help you sort it out. Okay.
Okay,
You'll
thank
get a
you.
full refund, and we'll send
My,
you
my, my team
send
my
you
team
everything.
will help you with
Yeah,
that. Okay.
Thank
And
you.
we're in touch.
problem.
Okay, great. So again, thank you all for being on. Okay, as I always say, the session is not about us, it's all about you. If you really want to step up with your speaking and step up professionally, okay, please let's arrange a conversation. If you wanted to book a time with me, to have a coffee chat, and you didn't find anything in my calendar, send us an email to hello@heartpoweredbusiness.com and we make it happen for you. Okay. In any case, Michelle, thank you so much for being on with us
Thank you
today.
so much.
Love it. All of you already put the 21st of October into your calendar. Okay. At that time, the call will be at 6 p.m. Because we have someone from overseas, so we need to be careful on time zones. Okay. But on the 21st of October, I think our call is going to be at 6 p.m. You're also going to get a follow-up email tomorrow with an invite, so you can actually secure the seat already right away, and you have it in your calendar. And then, we have another amazing, inspiring guest. But hey, let's come back into here and now. Thank you, Michelle, for showering everyone with all these suggestions and insights. And, everyone, there's a lot of speaking opportunities in the corporate world. Okay. Don't play small. Believe in yourself, believe in your value, believe in your topic, believe in your message. Link it to some of these hot topics for the corporate world. And then again, boost your visibility, reach out to, some of your triple I's. Okay. It's not actually rocket science, as Michelle said. Okay. And everyone that wants to step up with you speaking, let's have a chat. And I see you all, turn the learning from today into taking some action, and always keep us updated on how things go. Okay. We always love to learn, what you do with what we teach, what we share. Okay. So thank you, Michelle. Thank you all. We'll be in touch, and we'll run another one of our uplifting sessions in October again. All the best until then.
Thank you all. Thank you. God
Bye.
bless you all. Bye.